gas masks and hand grenades. Gas masks and hand grenades. Gas masks and hand grenades. Gas masks and hand grenades.
Welcome to Gas Masks and Hand Grenades. I am your host, Jeff, and today I got a very special guest. Really psyched to talk to this gentleman right here to my left or your right. Depends on how you're looking at the screen here. Please welcome Mr. I'm going to try this, okay? Harri Kuokkanen.
That was pretty good, yeah.
Not too bad.
Yeah, that was really close, yeah.
I don't speak Finnish, but I try to act like I do sometimes. So.
Yeah.
But hey, man, thank you so much. We'll pretend we didn't already have a 5-minute discussion here. It's great to have you here, man. We are here. You are the vocalist for Finnish, or as the Finnish say, they don't say Finnish, they say Finnish. Finnish. Every Finnish guy I've talked to is like, no, it's Finnish. So I'm like, all right, got you, man. But the Finnish band, Hooded Menace, without question, one of my absolute, I'm going to fanboy for a second here, one of my favorite Death Doom bands going back to almost a decade now, back to 2018 when I kind of came into the band. And Harri, I didn't exactly tell you the origin here. I came in with Unhallowed Silhouettes, but I really kind of came in thanks to Blaine over at Banger. I'm sure you know who Blaine is, or you know about Blaine, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was kind of instrumental, I think, in introducing a lot of people to the Hooded Menace name. So I can't lay claim and pretend I'm one of those fans that's been there from the beginning. I was a late comer to the Hooded Menace sort of deal. So, but hey, we're here to talk about this album right here. I want to pull some artwork up because I did buy the bundle. I have the bundle on order, the shirt, the CD, and the album. But we're going to take a quick look here at the artwork, I think. Right there we go. And this is Wes Benscoter album artwork here, which is this the second or third time you've used him, do you know?
The second
Second
yeah.
time.
Yeah, the first time he was we had him do the artwork was the last one. The
Tritonus Bell, yeah. And actually, I think I wanted to lead off there with and by the way, I should mention the name of the album. That might help a little bit. Do you want to tell them the name of the album?
Lachrymose Monuments of Obscuration. Yeah.
Okay, so let's start there. I did some fact finding because Lasse, who I assume Lasse does the naming of these things, or do you get a say in that as well?
He does the naming of the albums. I only like participate on some lyrics, but yeah, Lasse is the main figure doing the
right. We're gonna get deep into that in a minute here, but I wanted to kind of go back to that title for a minute. So, lachrymose means your lacrimal glands, which are your tear ducts, your tear glands. So, tearful monuments of obscuration, meaning concealment or the act of hiding something, or concealing a heavenly body. Now, does he explain the titles to you at all, or does he let you just kind of do your own mental thing?
Well, it's kind of a both, because with the lyrics and all, we don't usually explain them too much to anyone. So it's kind of let's keep it that way. So it's open for interpretations.
Right.
Yeah, and there's you can reflect the title of the album with the lyrics when you get to read them. And, yeah.
But plus you've got the artwork that kind of goes, which is in the background of us. You can sort of see some of it. I did use an older logo though than the new logo because I love the demon logo with the upside down cross is the killer one for me. But yeah, I was kind of I think most cool bands tend to do that where they leave things open for interpretation. You get out of the lyrical content from the music, you can derive your own sort of meaning, which is probably more important than what maybe the artist. I mean, if it's a literal thing like "Baby, baby, I love you," that's kind of hard to, work around and get too much in your head over. But something like this is pretty nebulous, right?
Yeah, and I think it's like whenever doing art, it's really important to leave more like much room for interpretations, because it's otherwise it's if it's like already tuned, like everything is tuned up, so it's what there is to be experienced anymore. So yeah.
So it's kind of more like a vibe thing. You're vibing off the whole picture of it, of not only the sights, the sounds, the lyrical interpretation. It's all sort of one package. And I know with Lasse, he's very, this is his band essentially. He's kind of the driving force from the creative standpoint. Do you mentioned lyrics? Do you get to have input in those?
Yeah, yeah. I've been. I think I wrote one song, lyrics for one song for each album I've participated in. But Lasse does most of the lyrics. But yeah, the other members have been like doing some lyrics as well. But yeah, even if it's like the lyrics are like, for example, me doing some lyrics, it's still like following the guidelines Lasse already like put
Set
there.
down. Yeah, he
Yes,
said that.
yeah, we discuss about the thematics and the atmosphere, and also for the vocal arrangements, he's already like figured that out before the lyrics. So everything has to kind of it has to be like in the right place, and the vocals and the lyrics will have to follow his vision. So it's kind of it's like a craftsmanship for the
Right.
for the of his vision. Like it's like making a chair for his like room he already planned with all the furniture and stuff. So it's
Right. It's interior design. You're just kind of adding some of the accents in a way.
yeah. I've been like doing like some I can do like the vocals are the same. It's like I do lots of like I do write songs in different bands myself, but this band for me it's mainly and like foremost it's just like being an instrument, like
being one of the guitars or being a drum set or something.
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, being the kind of voice he wants. Because like before I joined, he did all the vocals for albums himself. So the only reason I am in the band is that like he had the idea of developing the band in the direction he felt he's not like the right voice to do. So it's kind of a
Right.
yeah. So everything's like that in this band.
Well, let me ask you this. First of all, if you could, I'm sure you've gone over the story a number of times, but how did you get involved? Did you know Lasse for quite a while? Did he find you? How'd that come together?
We had been in contact for a few years. One of my previous bands called Force Latitudes. I was the drummer and vocalist of the band, and after the first album, I think Lasse had found the first album. I was listening to Hooded Menace at the same time, because that was around the first and maybe the second Hooded Menace album, and he asked if Horse Latitude wanted to do the split LP with Hooded Menace. So we did a split LP, like EP sort of thing, and after that we like every now and then we were in contact with each other, and it was like a few years later, 2016, he reached out to me, and like he's been like figuring out like having the vocalist change on the albums as well, and he kind of liked my voice on the course, Latitude's album when there were less this traditional clean vocals and more this harsh side of vocals. So he kind of had the reference points of some sort of my harsher vocals. So
Well,
yeah.
so interestingly, and I did not know this until I started digging around a little bit last night. I knew that Tritonus Bell came out right in the heart of the pandemic. It came out in, I believe, August of 2021. So we're
Yeah.
literally talking, by the time this album is out on October 3rd on Season of Mist, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I just did now. We'll have seen a 4-year gap between releases. Now, you told me before we went live, this album's been in the can, so to speak, for about a year, roughly. And I'm sure Lasse was writing it maybe for 2 or 3 years, however long it takes him to, do that creative process. Because this is a pretty involved album. There's a lot of riffs. There's a lot of keyboards. There's a lot of layering on this album. What I was not aware of, Harri, was that Hooded Menace is no longer a live performing band. That kind of came to me as a bit of a shock. Was it a shock to you when it was presented to you that by Lasse, I assumed that he didn't want to play live, or had you seen that coming?
It was kind of a foreseeable thing because when I joined the band, I straight got into the live thing. My first gig with Hooded Menace was California Death Fest in San Francisco. And
wow!
It was just it was a West Coast tour with Demilich.
Yeah.
My baptism for Hooded Menace live shows was that West Coast tour, and it was pretty. There were lots of gigs within 2 years of that thing, but it was come 2018 during the year, and especially when we were doing the short summer tour, only 3 gigs, but we had all the road burn and metal and death fest and all that stuff
Right.
on the same time in Glasgow and stuff like that. And it was that summer that Lasse started to talk that maybe he's not too much into this live thing anymore. He doesn't get anything from that, and he kind of decided that the Killtown Death Fest gig we were doing some Fulfill the Curse these 10-year anniversary shows where we played the whole album, the first album in whole, and we did 2 gigs, one in Finland and one in Killtown Death Fest. And
Yeah, that's David's festival, or was David's. I don't think he's involved anymore, but from Undergang, David, can't remember his last name.
There's this Daniel who's
Daniel, not David. Daniel, that's it. Daniel from Undergang.
Yeah, I'm sure he's a promoter guy, but yeah. But anyway, he's that back 2018 September, I think that was the last time we played a show, and it's been like that ever since. Lots of offers. People
I was wondering about that. Yeah,
they ask constantly, but it's we almost did some shows in 2020, because that was Never Cross the Dead
anniversary,
10-year anniversary, and we the Killtown promotions, they booked us a summer tour. I think it was all even announced in the very big, January of 2020 or something like that. But
but then it kind of fell apart.
Yeah. So it got canceled, the whole thing, and because it was supposed to be just this anniversary gigs, nothing else. Just few shows, and that didn't make sense to do it in the next year because that wasn't any more 10-year anniversary. And so there have been things like that, and some considerations like throughout the years, but like nothing too serious for us to.
Do you know? Has like Maryland Death Fest ever reached out?
I think so. I've seen. Yeah, Lasse gets all the
Sure.
proposals, but yeah, might be like many festivals, many tours have been proposed, but it's like Lasse is pretty consistent with that thing. That
he just doesn't want to do it
live. It's not like we promise we'll never play live, but
right.
It's like it's not like too realistic at the moment that we would.
Well, it's very expensive. Obviously, it's extremely expensive. You know, if you want to go overseas, the visas are crazy, so you got to have those fees covered.
Yeah, but it's not that like anything about those like factual things or arrangements. Okay. It's just about the motivation of like.
He just doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to tour.
He's like he wants to create music, not perform live, and so it's like
understandable. Understandable. Does that frustrate you a little bit though? Like, I mean, I'm not trying to get you in trouble here. I'm just curious, like, how you feel about that, because as a performer, I would assume, because I've seen footage of you live, and you seem to really get into it, man. I mean, you're like a powerful, forceful front man, and it seems like to me, I'd be like, fuck, man, I'd like to really get out there and jam some of these tunes and get fucking evil, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I like doing Hood and Menace live, and I like the new tunes as well. So of course it would be fun for me, because I'm the one who likes doing shows. But as I have many other bands, and I play live with other bands, it's not. I think if this was the only band I'm in,
right,
then it would bug me a little. But now I got to play live as much as I gotta want to.
Are you in the same area as the guys, or you live further away, or how's that?
I live in Helsinki. I live in Helsinki, which is the capital.
Yeah, so you're in the main area.
Yeah, and Lasse and Pekka, they live in Joensuu. Like it's I think it's like 6 hours by train or something like that.
Oh,
so
shit!
We're not close. We see each other very rarely, like face to face. We're in contact, but like, so for example, like when we recorded the album, I didn't even see the guys during the session. I record my vocals here.
Did you track at home then? You tracked it at home?
No, not at home, but here in Helsinki.
In a studio in Helsinki.
Yeah, like a couple of locations. Like there was
So everything is done via email and Dropboxes and things like that now, right? Sending files.
Yeah, they did all the stuff there. Other stuff they did there in Joensuu. They used this studio for the first time, like a local studio, and now, like for example, compared to the previous album when it was mixed by Andy LaRoque. Now Lasse was mixing everything with the studio guy by himself, like splitting the mixing sessions, like spanning like a couple of months or something like that. They were mixing like locally. I was the only one that wasn't present there. They did the drum tracks, they did all the guitar like amping and all stuff they did there. But yeah, I was the only one who was just like being here in Helsinki and
isolated.
Yeah,
you're here. You're halfway. You know, you said by train 6 hours. So I'm assuming you guys do things in kilometers, not miles. So I never can get that straight in my head because we're lazy over here in America. We never had to learn every. It's like I was going to ask you. You speak very good English, and so I guess is English a second language in Finland? Like, are you required to learn it in school, or how did you become? Because you almost sound like you. To a degree, you almost sound like you might have lived in the UK for a little bit. Is that wrong?
No, I've never lived outside Finland.
Okay,
but I do have like lots of friends in the UK and the States, and yeah, but it's not like an official language of Finland, but many like I think all the kids learn from from the third grade.
Okay.
And the thing is that we also have lots of these like television, lots of like British and
yeah.
American movies and series, and because we don't dub anything, we have subtitles, so we kind of get used to the English language from very early on.
Okay, from an early age, you're kind of used to it. Then I see. Okay, because I know when I talked to Will, I was hoping to get you and Lasse on both, and he's like, Lasse. Turns out Lasse doesn't really like doing interviews because he says he doesn't feel he's good English wise. But it's like I've talked to other Finnish people where it's very hard to or other people in other countries. Germany's pretty particularly difficult. And sometimes even the UK, like Irish accents are pretty intense. You know what I mean? But you speak really, really well. So probably better than I do actually. So getting back to the album real quick, I wanted to kind of I did on the touring thing. Do you think if like Maryland Death Fest came with like just some absurd number and said, hey, we want you to headline one of the days? I'm not saying that would happen. I'm just saying because I go to Maryland Death Fest a lot and they have a lot of great killer bands. I was just there the last 2 years and saw some bands I never thought I dreamed I would get to see. Bands like Mortuary Drape and Sigh and things like that, right? If they came and the numbers were right to make it work, do you think Lasse might do something like that?
I can promise anything on his behalf, but like if someone really wants us, they're always welcome to send an email, and we consider it like one at a time. Yeah, it's I have to say it's not about the numbers. It's not about the money. We've been offered quite nice deals throughout the years, but it's always been the same. If Lasse is not in for the doing gigs, it's not the money that turns his head around. Of course, you get like everyone has the imagination.
It makes you think a little bit.
But like realistically being like for a Finnish death metal band, I don't know if there's right now at least a number that anyone would be like willing to pay. So
I mean, it's like if Metallica called and said, "Hey, we want you to open for us all across the United States." You'd have to be like, yeah, we got to sit down and talk. Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's certain offers you could probably not refuse, but I get it. The bottom line is Lasse just isn't into it, and I get that. And what's the point of being up there if you're not enjoying yourself?
Yeah, of course, if Tony Iommi sent us some request, I'd be really like talking with Lasse, like face to face.
Dude, come on, let's do this. Okay, let's move on a little bit to the material of the album. Again, you're not a writer on the album, but we've got 7 tracks, kind of an intro, interlude, Twilight Passages, and then we get into the first single, Peril Masquerade. And the first thing that's really evident is that the kind of the melodic traditional metal influence that kind of started on Tritonus, which was a big, I think it was a fairly noticeable jump from the prior album, your first album, Silhouettes, which was a lot more opethy and a little bit more proggy. This Tritonus moves a little bit more into a more traditional metal kind of vibe, like a Merciful Fate, King Diamond. This new album, I hear a tremendous amount of influence, whether purposeful or not. I hear a lot of Draconian Times, Icon, Gothic, Paradise Lost. I just hear a lot of Paradise Lost in the riffs, in your singing style. It's got a very Nick Holmes, growly vibe, but you can understand every word very clear. There's not a lot of super gutturals. There's more of a it's a singing death metal growl as opposed to a death metal growl that sort of sounds like a vocal. It's more a growl that sounds. Yeah, now I'm getting confused how I wanted to say that, but it's more tuneful, shall I say. And I kept hearing with Lasse's lead work in here that, and a lot of his fills, I'm hearing stuff like off of Draconian Times a lot. Is that a fair assessment, you think?
Yeah, of course, like Paradise Lost is one of the bands that's influenced the whole like style of music, and of course our band as well. Yeah, I think the biggest influences besides the, like, you know, the basic My Dying Bride, Paradise Lost, and all that death, like traditional Death Doom stuff, is like you said, this 80s metal that started with the Tritonus Bell. Now it's like I think now it's kind of a continuation where we were at the Tritonus Bell, but now every like that was hinted for a little on the previous album. Now it's like a little bit tuned up, like all these directions and all these shades, like different shades of gore. You might say.
Right. So, yeah.
And the keyboards and all the stuff, they're now more present than they were.
I was just gonna say the keyboards definitely add a really spooky, ethereal. I hate to use that word because we always use the same. You know, it's like in death metal and doom metal, we always use, oh, it's crushing, it's dark, it's dank, it's heavy. You know, it's kind of the same descriptors we always use. But in this album's case, it's extremely tuneful, which Hooded Menace has always had that. They've had a lot of melody in the guitar. The guitar lines act a lot like a lead vocal in a lot of ways in some of these songs. They suck you in to when the vocals kind of start. And so, for example, like in the initial track, Pale Masquerade, you got that da-now, da-na-now, da-now, da-na-now, and that's just this, and then you come in, and it's just this cool. Lass is very, very. He's a great guitar player, obviously, but he hears unique sort of melodies in his head with the guitar. I mean, that's what really attracted me to like Never Cross the Dead. That intro to that song is so not like anything that you ever hear in death metal that I was like, oh, I'm in on this band right away, right? But on this new album, I believe it's Daughters of Lingering Pain. Yeah. There's clearly an arena like, hey, about 3-4 minutes in. It's about a 7-minute song. You hear that part where you can just see the crowd doing there's no crowd.
Yeah,
it's just that stomping traditional metal, like you know. And I kept thinking every time I'm listening to the song, I'm like, I want to just start going, yeah. So, even an old guy like me still likes to headbang. I do it a little bit slower and a lot less violently these days. But yeah, there's so many killer earworms on here. And then I got to ask about Save a Prayer. Of course, Duran Duran. Okay. Yeah. I don't know how old you are, Harri, and I won't ask, but I'm almost 60, believe it or not. I'll be 60 next year.
Yeah.
So I grew up in the era when Duran Duran was getting huge.
Yeah.
And I still love Duran Duran, one of my favorite bands of the 80s. And their last album, by the way, Danse Macabre, fucking amazing, so good. But what I'm curious about was this a Lasse choice? Did he reach out to you and say, hey, I'm thinking of doing this, this, and this? What do you want to do?
Yeah, we've been doing some covers, and we've been added them as bonus tracks on the previous albums. And but this time, during the writing process of the album, we had some other cover ideas as well. Like they would have been like bonus tracks, but then Lasse came up with this Duran Duran, and it was kind of a click for everyone. He did the demo one, and the arrangement he had. It was such a it was really like a hit. You of course the original song is a hit, but now the arrangement adds something to it, like makes it kind of it could be our own song.
Yeah.
So it's it was Lasse's idea, and what I've been like Lasse's been telling that he was like when he was I'm like 10 years younger than Lasse, but when Lasse like 10 years old, his big sister had the Duran Duran on tape.
Yes.
So he kind of got like when he was listening to heavy metal, but he still like listened to that tape, and he was like liked that from the very beginning, and it's been like on rotation. He's been listening to that like band over the decades, and so kind of now it just clicked. Like
it's a cool track. I didn't do any homework on it and see how many times it's been covered before, but my guess is you guys are probably the first Death Doom or Doom Death band to probably do it. So it's cool. It doesn't stray massively far away from the original sound so that you can't recognize it, which I don't like when bands do something like that's completely like, like Nevermore did a cover of The Sound of Silence from Simon and Garfunkel, and you don't even know it's the same song. It's like, whoa, what mushrooms were they eating when they decided to do this thing, right? But this one it stays fairly true to form, but it's got this darkness to it, obviously, this kind of otherworldliness to it, right?
Yeah, and the original song is pretty dark and gloomy.
Yeah,
on its own. So it's kind of it's like it's paying respect for the original song. It's not like we want to do something like that hasn't anything common with the original, because there's the respect and love for the original. It's
right.
More like realizing this side of the song, that there's hiding in the song. There's hiding this kind of like interpretation, arrangement, sort of thing. So
right, it's like a black. It's like a black and white photo versus a color photo. You want to kind of remain somewhat similar, but you want to give it a little bit of a different dynamic, and it really does work. When I saw that title, I'm like, that's gotta. I didn't even listen to it yet. I'm like, that. I hadn't even read the press release either, and I'm like, that's got to be a cover because it's too coincidental, right? And and so I kind of approached it a little bit with some trepidation, like, okay, is this gonna be good, or is it gonna be cringy? You know what I mean? Like, is it gonna be one of those moments where you're like, it's a skipper? It's not a skipper. It's done very well. It's done very much in the Hooded Menace vibe. It's very in keeping with that, and very, very cool. Great choice. Tell Lass a great choice there. How much time do you have? Can I have you for about 5 minutes yet?
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess when you start these cycles, to talk about, we talked real quick too about off camera. We talked about this. The writer of this book is the guy, Marcus. I'm gonna mess his name up. Well, he's kind of he's a Makinen.
Yeah.
Makinen, yeah. And he was the original. Well, not the original. He was a bassist and singer in the band, and I didn't realize until I was doing some research he's the guy that wrote this book here. And you said that you guys played in the band. You played some gigs, because I saw some video of you guys actually together there.
For example, the West Coast tour I was talking about, Marcus was playing bass the tour, and the year after that. So yeah, we're in the same band for a year and a half.
Had you been to the States before, or was that your first time here? Or
that was the first time ever in States. I've been there a couple of times after that too. But
what do you think of the States?
Sorry?
What do you think of the States as a whole? Our politics insanity aside, right now.
Maybe it's too much for us to discuss in 5 minutes, but yeah. But it was like, yeah.
Did you enjoy coming over? Did you enjoy being here?
Yeah, I joined. Yeah, I enjoyed, and I especially the West Coast. Like my first trip there. Yeah, I like many of the cities there. I like California. I like Seattle. I like many places like there, and I have friends there. So I think that's the main thing for me in that country. Of course, like lots of cultural stuff as well, like being like growing up with the movies and the music from there. So it's
you have a perception of what it's going to be like, and then you get here and it's like, oh wait, hold on, it's big, man, it's vast. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I've only been to West Coast and New York. I've never been anywhere in the middle.
Yeah, okay, so I'm near Philadelphia, in that area, like about an hour and a half northwest of Philadelphia. So for me, Baltimore's an hour away. Philadelphia's an hour and a half. New York is about 3 hours. So I was up to see. In May, I went to this crazy number of concerts, but I went to see Enslaved in New York, and I hadn't been up to a show in New York in a while. I also saw Atheist and Obscura, and Kelly's a buddy of mine, so I went up to see him and hang out with him a little bit. And it's even big for me. I don't go to New York a lot, and it's like kind of overwhelming if you're not there, living there, or in that kind of all the time. But Helsinki's a really big city, I believe, too, right?
Not in the American sense, I think.
Okay.
Like, I'm not sure about the number. It's less than 1 million people. It's like more like 800,000, like the whole.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't realize that. Okay.
We only have 5 million people in Finland in general. So.
Oh shit. Okay, so that's like not even 1/3 of what lives in New York City in the boroughs.
Yeah.
It's like 25 million people there. It's insane. Yeah.
But But I know. I've only been once to New York, but I went to see a show there too.
Oh, did you?
2019.
Who'd you catch?
The Misfits with Glenn Danzig.
Oh yeah, man, nice.
Madison Square Garden, like my greatest show I've ever been in my life, and probably will.
That's pretty big time shit there. I've been to New York 50 times to see shows. I've never been to MSG, man. Never been to the big arena there. I've gone to mostly Philadelphia and Baltimore because it's close to home, and there's arenas even around where I live. I mean, shit, Death to All, Gorguts, they're playing 30 minutes from my house in November. So I'm very lucky. I'm in an area where I can catch a lot of shows very easily. I can go catch some pretty big name acts. You know what I mean? That's the one nice thing, where I guess in Finland there's maybe 3 cities that you can play, or
the bigger cities there are like 3, 4, but like there are some like local shows, of course, in the smaller places, and because of the underground scene is pretty active here.
I was going to say, is it active with a lot of bands?
Yeah, lots of bands, and and I also live, because I live in Helsinki, we have lots of things going on all the time. Just this weekend, I had a 5-10 minutes walk from my place. There was a death metal festival just around the corner, and
nice.
So lots of stuff going on.
So I would imagine you've probably been to, what's the famous club in Helsinki? Tavasta. Yeah. I'm sure you've been there a lot, right?
I've been there sometimes. I've never been like a big goer there, but for example, when I was that was my first gig I saw in Helsinki. I was living in my original hometown in southeastern Finland, and I was 19-year-old when we drove the few hours just to see Cannibal Corpse in Tavastia. So
nice.
So that was my first time in Tavastia, was seeing Cannibal Corpse there. So,
that's freaking cool, man. That's really cool. I want to get you out of here because I know it's evening over there, and I really appreciate your time. But there were a few comments here directed at you. And the first one is from John Hines. He's asking, Finns also learn one Nordic language in school as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, because Swedish is actually a second official language of Finland. We have Finnish and Swedish.
Is it similar? Is it pretty similar?
No, they have nothing common. Like the different branches of language.
Okay.
So they don't have similarities, but we have historically this Swedish-speaking minority in Finland, especially on the southern and west parts of Finland. So that's we have to learn some Swedish. But like I said, most of the kids start learning English from 3rd grade. The Swedish comes from the 6th or 7th grade. So we learn less Swedish than English.
So you speak 3 languages or more? Do you speak any Norse?
No Norse or any other Nordic languages. Of course, I can understand some from my Swedish skills, like if I hear or read something.
Right.
Yeah. know a little some other languages like I don't know, just like little basics of Karelian language and some Russian and stuff. Like because I was I grew up next to the Russian border, so
oh man,
Russian
yeah,
school.
we should. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be you guys right now. That with all the craziness that's going on over there, man. Does that?
Yeah,
worry at all?
we have history with that.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Oh my goodness. Well, that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother live stream we could get into. But Zeb is asking, do you know? I'm not even going to Salmayaki Koshnekorva.
What's that?
Salmayaki Koshnekorva.
Yeah, Salmiakki Koskenkorva. Yeah, I enjoyed that when I was like a teenager, and I used to drink a lot. Like I like to drink, like boozing around, but it's kind of it's salted licorice booze. So
okay.
you just like fuse salted licorice candies. In vodka. So it's a pretty like Finnish sort of thing because Finns love salted licorice, and it's like a booze that tastes like salted licorice. So
okay, so we have something over here called anisette. Anisette is a liqueur that tastes like black licorice, right?
Yeah.
And you're saying this is salty.
Salted licorice. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Really, I think I remember like I heard I wasn't at the gig, but like I was a kid and I heard from my dad that he went to see David Coverdale in Helsinki, and he was really like this shit is so great. Like you have to taste it. He fell in love with the Salmiakki.
I was just gonna say it sounds terrible. To be honest with you, just the sound of it sounds awful. But probably after the third one, if you haven't puked your guts out, you're ready to rock and roll. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's all black. It's all black, and if you like that candy, it tastes like candy. So that's the thing. Yeah, and so that's why they like to do it as shots, because it's like
it's not a drink you're gonna sit there and drink like a beer or something like that.
No. I'm more myself. I'm more like that, like fancy beer taster guy.
I got you. Couple quick ones here. I've never heard of Hood and Menace, but then again, I'm not a huge death metal guy. What song or album should I check out? Well, the new one when it comes out, obviously. I mean, come on. Harri is on this album. He's on 3 of the studio albums, and the first one, say the Ossuarium Silhouettes Unhallowed, I believe is right. Yep. And then the Tritonus Bell that was 18. Tritonus Bell was 21. And the new one, Lachrymose, help me out.
Lachrymose Monuments of Obscuration.
Yes, is the new one that comes out on Season of Mist on October 3rd. It's fucking incredible. It's so good. Last one here. Yeah. Sorry, man. Last one here was.
Yeah, 2 singles are out now. Like
the new one. Did the new single come out last night?
Yeah.
Yesterday? Okay. And give me 1 second here. Portrait Without a Face?
Yeah, Portrait Without a Face was the first one, and Pale Masquerade was the new one.
Pale's the new one that just dropped. Yeah. So by single, it's a different thought process now than in the old days when a single was like a 3 or 4 minute song. Both these tracks are close to 7 or 8 minutes long, but they don't feel like it because there's so many killer riffs. Let me say this first. Your vocals are fantastic. I love them because they do what they need to do for Hood and Menace. And you even do a little bit of more semi-spoken word singing on Into the Haunted Oblivion on the end there, right? Or is that spoken word?
The actual spoken word was a guest. There was this
John McNulty.
John McNulty from Cold's Blood did
okay.
Yeah, we've had Cold's Blood members doing guest spoken word before. Their guitar player Gemma did on the previous albums the female voice for us. So now we have another Cold's Blood member do the male spoken word. So we have the history with them as well. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you: are you much of a Death Doom fan, like Swallow the Sun or Shape of Despair? Because I got to see Shape of Despair here, and you don't have to out yourself. I mean, just like I'm sure you're aware of those bands because they're Finnish bands. I got to see Shape of Despair at Maryland Death Fest back in May, and I was pretty blown away, man. They were absolutely incredible. I've seen Swallow the Sun. Like I said, I've had Yuha on. Do you like that slower doomy stuff, or not as much?
I do like Death Doom, but I more like mostly I listen to the old classics, like Paradise Lost and like early My Dying Bride stuff.
Oh yeah,
that's more like my cup of tea, and like slower Death Doom, like Cathedral, and like the
disembowelment, stuff like that.
Which one?
Disembowelment.
Yeah, disembowel. Yeah, of course, like
esoteric.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, mostly yeah the old British. Of course, like if you go to the slow death metal, like Winter, for example, it's one of my favorites.
Well, what's
Winter?
Yeah. Oh, Winter. Yeah, of course, man. That fucking album. Maybe the OG. Them and Disembowelment might be the originals right there in terms of Real quick on last thing here. What are your three favorite metal bands? Your three favorite, like when you think of traditional metal, what are your three favorite bands that you dig that never get old for you? I know, putting you on the spot.
Of course, Black Sabbath is like I like all the vocalist eras of Black Sabbath.
Tony Martin? You like Tony Martin?
I love Tony Martin. Yeah, I love those. And I think Lasse had some like influence of the Headless Cross and Tour on this album, like the production values.
Yes.
Yeah.
The guitar lines are very Headless Cross, like Devil and Daughter, and Headless Cross, obviously. Did you ever hear? Have you heard the Ray Gillen Eternal Idol demos? Did you ever hear those?
Yeah. I almost like them better than the actual album.
I do too, man. I got to see Ray Gillen. This will tell you how old I am. I got to see Ray before he died when he was with Badlands with Jakey Lee back in 1990 or 91. I forget. It was on the Voodoo Highway tour, man. So it was about 2 years before he died. That guy live, dude, was just fucking out of – you just couldn't envision that what you heard on the record. You're like, it's not going to be as good live. He was better live than he was. I feel lucky because I'm an old man, kind of. So I've gotten to see things like I've gotten to see Lane Staley before he was sick with Alice, like at his peak, and Chris Cornell and Loud Love. I got to see these guys when they were just like young dudes that were just destroying things. But okay, so all right, that's one.
The next one that I actually like, one of my favorite bands of all time. Like, you may not consider them as a traditional heavy metal, but I still say Danzig. Because I know you can like categorize them different ways, but for me, they're still like one of the best rock or metal bands in the world. So
Danzig metal for sure. I mean, there's no way I wouldn't argue that. I don't know if I'd say he's like a traditional metal band.
It's not traditional, but because I don't listen to much of the very like really traditional metal myself, like
Merciful Fate.
I love Merciful Fate, but like I could it's like arranging them in some sort of order. But yeah, of course, I just saw King Diamond here in Helsinki a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah, how was it?
Yeah, it was really good. And
I saw him on Halloween last year, man, down in DC. Fucking my first time ever seeing him. And I'll admit, I came to King when I first heard Melissa back in 1983. I was probably a junior in high school, and I'm like, man, this music is so killer, but those vocals are kind of like Mickey Mouse shit. Like, what's going on there? You know what I mean? But I grew to love it, and live, he's the king. You know, he's the king.
Yeah, of course. Now when we're talking, like, I should have mentioned at the first place, like, of course, Judas Priest. Judas Priest is my like. I worship them.
Oh, yes, you do, man. What's your favorite album?
That's the more tricky one because I have many favorite albums of theirs, like from the different eras. I like Sad Wings of Destiny. one of my favorite albums, but also like Killing Machine, Turbo, Painkiller.
I'm definitely a Defenders guy, except for that shitty drum sound. That shitty drum sound drives me nuts. But Sentinel, I mean, you can't be. The Sentinel is my favorite.
Yeah, probably their best song. Like, but yeah, as the albums go, that's the band that has so many different eras of.
And they're all good. They're all pretty much good.
They're all classic. They all like define metal, like again in a different. And maybe that was the reason why I didn't think them at first, because there was like kind of it's not like you rank Judas Priest anywhere. Because they kind of like Black Sabbath, they like laid foundation.
They started their own universe of metal in a lot of ways.
We just imitate them. Like
I saw the Turbo tour. That was the first Judas Priest show I saw with Dokken. Yeah. Dokken was opening for Under Lock and Key, man. And I swear to God, for like 3 weeks after that, I could not hear out of this ear because I was right on the left side, right by the stage. And it was so fucking loud. That was at like a big arena shows when that was the thing to do. But yeah, I am, and I'm a stained class guy. Like I love stained class. And here's a hot take for you. I actually like Nostradamus. Fuck anybody that doesn't like Nostradamus. I like that album. It's a great album. So, Harri, man, I really want to thank you so much for giving me so much time today, brother. You got anything going on outside of Hooded that you want to talk about real quick?
I have lots of things to do. I think one of the bands, I play in many bands, but one of the bands, many of the anyone who follows this or sees this might not be aware of. If you like the Death Doom stuff, I've been in the band called Devil's Gateway for a couple of years now, and we have 2 albums and a couple of other releases out, and we just it used to be like 2 members, me doing instruments and person called Hanna doing the vocals, but now we are a full band and we're doing live shows as well. But it's like a Death Doom / crust punk sort of stuff.
Okay.
So pretty dark and heavy. But yeah, I think if you like slow and sometimes faster, like mid-tempo Death Doom stuff, you probably should check out. Yeah.
Say the name of that one again.
Devil's Gateway.
Devil's Gateway. What's the Hail Conjurer? Is that a band that you're in?
Yeah, that's my solo band. I do black metal. Like it's me only doing black metal. So yeah.
Okay, so you're doing all the instruments.
Yeah, I do everything. Also record and mix all the stuff. So
very cool. I happen to notice. We'll end on this. Over your right shoulder there on the wall, I happen to notice there's an upside down cross.
Yeah. That was actually from New York.
Was it?
Some local gave it to me there at the yard.
They were probably, they saw you in a Danzig shirt and they wanted to save you probably. Listen, please give Lasse my regards and tell him if he ever wants to do an interview, he can stay in dark. He can not come on screen and just talk if he wants to do that. Because I want to pick his brain about how he comes up with his riffs, man. Because I'm, as you can see, I've got guitars everywhere. I'm a guitar player, and I fucking love the way he puts riffs together. Nothing ever feels. It always the Hooded Menace stuff is great because it doesn't feel like you're cutting and pasting this riff to meet that riff, and that riff to meet that rhythm, and that kind of stuff. It always feels like there's a natural flow with the riffs and the verse, chorus, and the pre-choruses and whatever. And I mean, like I said, man, like when I heard that I'm like, all right, that's cool. That's a new thing. That's kind of new in there. That he's kind of put that vibe in there on that song. So, but yeah, good luck on the release coming up here. And what do we got? About 6 weeks, roughly.
Yeah.
And are you doing anything like a release party over in Finland or no?
No, I think Season of Mist is whole like putting on some sort of a virtual like listening party, like
Okay.
people can join like online. I can remember the date. They probably announce it closer to the date, and we still have one single to come before the release. So yeah.
I'll check with Will on that. And I don't know how you feel about this, but if you wanted to drop in the private chat, if you want to drop me your email, I can then put whatever links you want to your other projects. And I didn't have time to get my description together for this, but I'll put it together because we still have a couple weeks till the album drops. But I'll put all the pre-order information. The last I saw, a lot of the colored variants are sold out. I believe there was a liquid filled variant, like yellow liquid, that's gone. I think that was like 125, maybe 75 copies. I got one of the blue ones with the CD and the shirt. I've got a lot of Hooded Menace shirts, but I couldn't find them. I've got like 8,000 shirts in my closet, so it's like just grab one, man. All right, I'll go with Psychotic Waltz. We'll do that. So, but yeah, if you want to drop your email in there, I'll hit you back and you can let me know what you want me to put in the description there. So
yeah. Sure.
Thank you so much for your time, dude. Appreciate it so much, man. Hope you enjoyed it, man. So it'd be great to see you guys play. Just tell Lassa. I'm hoping. Just hoping. All right, man?
Yeah, I forward the message.
I'm sure he'll be all over that. Like right now. Let's book a tour right now for that guy. All right, man. Hang on one sec if you would. Okay?
Yeah.
Real quick, everybody. Stephen Wilson, Porcupine Tree, solo, all that good stuff. He's coming up on September 3rd. Just want to remind you, at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And also Evokin, really killer Death Doom band from New Jersey. They've got a new album out coming out. I think it's the same day as you guys, I believe. Pretty sure. On Profound Lore, we're going to have them on, I believe, on the 6th to talk about it. So those are the upcoming things there. And thanks again to Harri for joining me today. And